Hey everybody, it's Fat Frog, and today we're going to talk about the best fighting dino in Ark Survival Evolved, I think by far, at least when it comes to fighting in a team. And of course, it's not a raptor or a giga. It is the Yutyrannus over here, which is super cool because he can scare the enemy and he can also give a buff to everybody. So let's just take a look at the buff really quick. So we're going to bite with this guy. He's doing 48. And he doesn't buff the Giga for very long. So here we go. We're doing 616. 1,000 was a headshot damage. So let's get this guy. Let's hit C to give him the little courage roar here. And it doesn't last very long with a Giga, but it lasts longer. So now we're doing 770. So that's 110 more damage it's doing. And this guy was doing 48. Now he's doing 61. So that is pretty impressive. So this guy does what that ends up being mathematically. It means it's a 25% increase in the damage output of your teammates that are buffed. Like our Raptor here is still buffed, but the Giga is not. And it's also going to mean that these guys are going to take 20% less damage while they're buffed from their enemy, whether they're getting shot or bit by something. So that's super great. So that's the courage roar. In single player, there'll be an option in the wheel here. I can't remember if it's in behavior, but it will have like auto courage roar, so you can just let this guy start howling, and it's great that you don't have to be riding them to get them to do that. So they also have basically a debuff where they scare, and so that's the right click on PC here. And what that's going to do is means that your enemy is going to have 50% more damage done to them, and their damage output by your enemy is going to be reduced by 30%. Now that's not going to work on bosses, and that's not going to work on T-Rexes and Gigas and a couple of other creatures, but your average ones are going to get that. So that's huge. So let's take a little bit look at the math. So if we're thinking about bringing one of these guys into a boss arena, let's take a look at what that would mean. So in a boss arena, you can usually have 20 creatures. Let's say we've all got like a crap level T-Rex that's doing 100 damage. So they're going to be able to do, just for sake of argument, output damage of 2,000 altogether. Now, if we add just one Yutyrannus to the mix, so that's now we're down to 19 T-Rexes. So now with that buff, they're doing 125 damage per second. And so that means the 19 total are going to do 2,375 damage per second. So that means one Yutyrannus, even though we've reduced the number of creatures that are in the fight, although you can bite with a Yutyrannus too, of course. That means the one Yutyrannus is the equivalent of 3.75 Rexes. So basically, we're going to subtract one or whatever. That means you've now have 22.75 Rexes, whereas before you only could have 20. So it's a massive boost that these guys are going to provide to you in a boss fight. Like I said, with those bosses and alpha creatures and things, they're not going to be afraid and not going to get those debuffs. But it's an absolutely huge deal. One last thing I'll say about the Yutyrannus too is that they are pretty mediocre fighters, I think, but they are super fast. So let's grab this guy. A player is going to need 181% movement speed in order to escape one of these guys. So this guy hasn't really had any points put into stamina or anything like that. So the stamina is not great, but he's moving pretty darn quick for such a large creature. So that's probably one of the worst things about the Yutyrannus, is that they're kind of hard to tame because a wild one is so fast and they can really, have like an erratic movement. They can be hard to hit with tranquilizer darts. They can they can dodge stuff. They can attack you guys pretty easy, and if you don't have that 181% movement speed, they're going to be able to track you down and get you. Plus, in the wild, they're going to have a whole bunch of little carnos with them, and they're going to give them that boost. They're going to scare away your dinos, your tamed ones. So if you're riding an Argentavis or something like that, it's going to get scared and become out of control and also take more damage as well. So that's about it for the Yutyrannus. They're super cool. They look cool. They're great fighters. By themselves, not so great, but in a team, they're amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.